Hello everyone, this is Dimly. I'm going to do my screencast presentation for the final project of the pathology class. I want to do two diseases. The first one is benign prostate hypertrophy, and second one of my disease was um, the prostate cancer. First of all, I'm going to go to my first one is introduction of this disease would be BPS is enlarged prostate. The prostate goes through two main growth periods as a man ages, and the first occurs early in puberty when the prostate double in size. The second phase of the growth begin at around age of 25 and continue during the most of men's life. And as you grow, and then the prostate number might get larger and larger, and commonly the BPS grow in second phase of the life of man. Etiological of BPS poorly understood. That price decay of intent research. Not many people understand about how and when it happened, but it's related to androgen, estrogen, life cycle, and lifestyle, and heritage and genetics mostly, and race. And I'm going to talk about later on the race, the race and genetics on this disease. And demographics of this disease could be histologically, so 10% is at the age of 30 and 20% at the age of 40, and 50 to 60% in the age of 60. As I mentioned, but the more you're getting old, the more increase by the age of 70 to 80 is increased by 90 to 80 to 90%, and then also the size also increase. As you can see, the size is at the age of 60 is already 30 gram to 45 gram size increase of the prostate. And risk factor of all the BPS would be mostly every man will develop enlarged prostate. It's rare for men in their early 40s or younger to have the BPH. By the age of 90%, then we have this condition by increasing the age, prostate enlargement, low urine tract symptoms, the lust, decrease the urinary flow rate, elevated prostate-specific antigen, the PSA. Abnormal and normal of this disease would be the sign. When it's a normal sign would be about the gallbladder or the walnuts, but then the abnormal side would be the double side of the normal side, as you can see in the picture on the left and the right, whereas the very bottom image that is normal state, and the and normal prostate and the abnormal prostate that compress the urine where it's hard to the urine to flow out, which is very painful. Here the growth level of the cell that you can see the picture that it can be grow on the normal size prostate 4 to 5 inches grows by the section compression, but it can be double than the size that we have in the abnormal size. Histological normal and abnormal prostate constitute a thin fibrous captures under which are circular and orange and smooth muscle vibrates and collagenous tissue. Prostate stoma lie deep to the distal and compress and compose a connect and elastic the tissue and smooth muscle where the epithelial cells are embedded. As you can see, the normal cell in the left and then abnormal cell in the right, which is so much different, which is larger and longer in the normal side, but in the left side and the right side, whereas the abnormal side would be circle and small and crowded, that hard to painful. According to American Society, that as a man age, they are more likely to be small connected. So they try to separate from each other and cannot be connect together. As you can see at the pictures again, that is small cells are separate from one another, but compared with normal cell, they are long and connected each other. Sign symptom of the BPH that are, so you can see on the picture on the right, like the line from the top to bottom is very curved, that hard to let the urine flow, and then compared with the normal urine flow is straight and then big. Here are the symptoms that is low urine tract symptoms, and yeah, and when the peak of urine flow rate is less than 10% per second, then the subvesical obstruction seen in 90% of the patient. Risk factor like can tend to bladder abnormal function, UTI, formation of the gallbladder stone, and then mostly it can affect to the renal failure. Diagnosis of this disease can be careful history, the physical exam including the DRE. DRE is monitors unreliable and assessment sign, in fact showing underestimate size of the prostate, and still information because some men found to have the prostate cancer based on DRE. So DRE are very much important. You can do the UA, the cecum, or CR pesat, depend on the patient with like expansion and circumstances. And furthermore, if the score, they can test you the PSA, and if the score less than 8 is a mild symptom recommended by early evaluation. If the score is 8 to 35, it can be done more by the neurology disease, or your doctor can go in more detail for the diagnosis. The treatment can be done by like lifestyle modification, that how you active or eating well, and watchful waiting, medical therapy, and fetal therapy, that alternative the physical treatment, so that you can do a surgeon or surgical or minimal invasive treatment. Complication can be gallbladder stone, bladder damage, or kidney damage, sudden inability to urinate, urinary tract infection. And prevention of the disease can be done, can be focused on the lifestyle, such as eating more fruits and vegetable, healthy eating, the low fat food, the choose plant protein or over the animal protein, and also it can be done exercise after work, or make your life more flow and make the blood flow well. Prognosis of this disease: the majority of the patients with the BPH can be expect at least moderate improvement of the symptom, indicate to decrease body score and improve quality of life. Low urinary tract symptoms, the lots secondary to BPS, might affect the sexual and well-being, including the erectile function. Case study of BPS number 70. WM is a 67 years old man with recent history of recurrent UTI. He has hospital 3 times in the last 2 years, and with acute pyelonephritis. Today he presented with complaints of present onset urine frequency, urgency, occupation, incontinence, and nocturia. History, family history is hypothyroidism, 24 years old, and endometrial chronic removed when he was 28 and 21. Here as further you can see that, and also have the father is alcoholic cirrhosis and died at the age of VBA at the age of 49, and the mother had MD type 2 and died at the age of 52 secondary to the chronic renal failure that is basically is related to the family. Question and answer. Question and answer for this one would be, what for what condition is the patient probably taking ipratropium bromate? The answer would be the iprabromate is used to relieve the bronchial plasma and anticholinergics or COPD. And then question number 2 is, for what condition is the patient probably taking the levothyroxine? Because he have a hypothyroidism, he should take the levothyroxine that help him. And question number 3 would be then based on the patient's IPSS is a condition of the prostate enlargement considered mild, moderate, observed according to the patient's table 70.1. The patient score of 23 with a SERV. He have a very strong, this one is SERV. And here is my second disease is prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is a most common cancer among the men after skin cancer. Occurs in the prostate, a small walnut-shaped gland in the men that produce a seminal fluid. Seminal fluid that nourishes and transforms the sperm. Prostate can grow slowly and is in a zone confined to the prostate gland, where it may not cause seriously harm. The etiological of prostate cancer will be on the basic level. Prostate cancer is caused by change in DNA in the DNA of a normal prostate cell. DNA is a chemical occurs in cells that make up our gene. Make up our genes, and our genes control how our gene control how gene and how cells function. We usually look like our parents because of the genetic and that's so on and so far, as you can see that. And demographic of this disease could be prostate cancer is the second leading cause cancer death in American men, behind lungs cancer. About 1 man in 4 will have died with the prostate cancer. Prostate cancer developed mainly in older men, African American men. About 6 cases in 10 diagnosed with the age of 65 and older, and it is rare before the age of 40. The age of 40, and the average of the time diagnosed about average 66 years of age. Risk factor of